Hello everyone, welcome to IGL Know the Instrument. In this episode, we are going to introduce you to an instrument called Bansuri. As the name states, Bans means bamboo and Suri means music. So it's music from the bamboo. It's an Indian typical flute. The Bansuri is discussed as an important musical instrument in Natya Shastra, the classical Sanskrit text on music and performance arts. The flute, Venu or Vamsha, is mentioned in many Hindu texts on music and singing as complementary to human sound and Veena. As it is said, Vani, Veena, Venu. The flute is, however, not called Bansuri in the ancient times and is referred to by other names such as Nadi, Tunava in the Rig Veda and in other Vedic texts of Hinduism, or it is called as Venu in post-Vedic texts. The flute is also mentioned in various Upanishads and yoga texts. However, the seventh fingering hole Bansuri was invented in 1940 by Pandit Pannalal Ghosh. Let's have a deeper understanding about the instrument. So let's take a look at the working principle of the flute and how it works. As you see here, it has a hole over here. This is a blowhole of Bansuri. And there are 6 holes which produce different tones, and there is one 7th hole over here, but I rarely see artists perform using this one. It doesn't make much difference, as you can play everything with these 6 holes, but this is one method crafted by Pandit Pannalal Ghosh. So he figured out the 7th hole technique. However, it's not much used in concerts and all. There are very rare people who know to use it and uses it. So let's have a look at it. So you place your lip over here on top of this hole and just gently blow air into it. So this is an open note. If you open all the fingers and just blow air inside, and this is closed note. So if you are able to bring this kind of music with the open note and closed note, probably your position is perfect and you can start playing in that position. And you need to spend a little bit time to get this pitch and get the proper tone from Bansuri. And how you do it is that you tilt your flute from here to here and find the proper angle and then keep blowing the air. At one place you're going to find out a perfect angle where you can simply blow the air and you're not forcing too much of air inside, and I'm simply just blowing the air. It gives a clean tone over the flute, and that's how you figure it out. And there is one more technique, and before that let me play this and I'll show you that this Bansuri can play a low note and a high note. Let me show you. So as you see, there's no magic inside, but the technique which works is that for a higher note I blowed a little bit speed of increase the speed of the air and also the blow of the air. And what I did was, the one technique is that you keep your lip in the same position and you blow a lot of air and you get a higher note. Otherwise, one more technique is that you tilt your Bansuri a little bit more towards the inside, so the hole closes a bit and you get you tilt it towards the inside and you get a sharper note. That is one technique. Otherwise you can keep it in the same position and keep blowing the air in a faster manner, like you can control the flow of the air with your lips, and you can produce high and low notes. So that's how this one works. You see kind of whipping done in the end of the flute, and in the top of the flute, and in the middle of the flute. This is a nylon rope whipped into different areas of flute, and this one is very thin, and they made sure that this is a professional flute, and they made sure that it doesn't interfere with the player, and it feels very comfortable. But the purpose of this one is also to make sure that the flute stays in scale. As you know, this one is made of bamboo, and from time to time, according to the climate changes, it will expand. So in order to avoid that one, and if it expands, and if you drop this also, a mild crack could completely destroy the flute. So in order to avoid this, they tie this rope to the end of the bansuri, so that it doesn't contract or expand according to the climate. And this is done by myself. I used a normal 2 mm rope. However, there is a lot of difference, because you see the difference between this professional and local made flute. However, this won't break, but then it happens like if you accidentally drop it one proper hit, it will create a crack over here. Once the crack happens, and it won't play in the scale, and there is nothing can be done to fix it. So to avoid this one, I've given a thicker thread, so it also gives a little bit cushioning effect at the end of it if it falls. So you should handle it very carefully, but if it falls, then this will save it. So let's have a look at the scale of the flute. And as you see here, different flutes are of different scales. And see how we check the scale of a flute. Normally they have mentioned it. They might have see, you see a marking over here. See, and some flute makers mark it over here, some over here. So they have mentioned the scale of the flute here. It's of C scale, and this is a very good scale for the beginners. And how you check whether the flute is in scale is like this. You set the Shruti to C scale. Just set it to C. See, this is of C scale, and as you see, you need to cover the first 3 holes, and 1, 2 and 3, and you close the first 3 holes over here. When you blow, it is going to be the sa. See, if it matches perfectly, then the flute is in perfect shruti. You need to only check one note. Probably if the one note is perfectly in scale, and the rest of the things is going to be in scale. This is a very professional flute. This is of the brand called Sarfuddin, and I'll show you in a bit what's the difference between a local make flute and a professional make flute. So this is C scale flute. As you increase the scale, the size of the flute also varies. And let me show you a sharper one. So this is C. I'll show you D one. So a scale different. So this is D scale. That's how you play the Saptaswaras in this flute. And this is of D scale. As you might see this, see over here, you see the length of the flute varies. A D is a shorter one. I'll show you a sharper scale also. See, the length varies. Now I'm going to show you F scale. It is much shorter than the D. And there is also the difference in the hole dia. What is over here, you see the diameter of the hole also varies according to the scale of the flute. So F scale. This is Sa in the F scale, and as you might see over here, this is F scale flute, and it is smaller in size than the D. So as you increase the scale, and I have a higher scale flute, but then it is of a local make, and I don't know, this doesn't match the Shruti, but I'll definitely show you guys what it is. And this is the highest scale flute I have. It's a very sharper one. I believe it is somewhere, I have marked it out. Yeah, this is B scale, the higher B scale, and this is 7 katai. So unfortunately it doesn't match, and I'll show you what happens if it doesn't match. You can before you buy the flute, you need to check whether it is in the proper scale. Otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, so I'll show you what happens if it doesn't match. And this is of 7th scale, as I told you earlier. See, I'm going to play the Sa. You can feel the difference. The Sa feels a bit different, but however I can still play in the Shruti, but it is not properly tuned, I can say that. I can still play in the Shruti, but then I can definitely say that this is a little bit off tune. And when you play in a concert and all, you'll know the difference a little bit. When you play it, the notes won't be proper. If you go for a properly tuned flute, the difference is a lot. I've shared everything to the best of my knowledge. I hope you guys will like it. And this is Sreekesh signing off with Google. I'll see you in another episode.